on where we are going forward. That is, if everyone remains committed to the tenets and principles of democracy.
When you say everyone, when you say everyone,
yes.
Does this include our leaders?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody, because democracy is the government of the people,
by the people,
and for the people. So
On
without
paper.
us, our leaders cannot function.
On paper.
Without them, we cannot function as well.
Yeah, it can be on paper, but we must again, we need to remind ourselves every day that until we all play our role, we will not get to where we are. Government is to be blamed. The people are also to be blamed. Like they say, the apple does not fall too far from the tree. I mean, our leaders were not picked from Botswana. They were not brought from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
From amongst us.
Amongst us. So it means that we are breeding our leaders. So if we now start thinking of breeding new leaders, they will still come from us. So everyone has a role to play. If you do not like what is going on, you must make effort to want to be part of the change process. How do you want to do it? You must also get involved, one way or the other. And like we always say, politics is local. We play politics even in the homes.
And you know, most times we always blame our leaders, the politicians. As people, what are we doing as well? We put unnecessary demands and pressure on those people. And so when they get to office, they will have no choice than to give you what you want.
Yeah.
So
and even if it means they have to do
business.
Talking about unnecessary demands, the minimum wage.
That one is not an unnecessary demand.
They've termed it like that it's too...
No, so again, these things are subjective. So everyone, I mean, you have your own opinion. And sometimes you also want to lord your opinion over others. And that's what's going on. So it will become unnecessary demand because of the figures. But minimum wage is not unnecessary demand. The law requires that it be tinkered with every 5 years. And even the president yesterday in his speech said 5 years or less. So meaning that the law recognizes the fact that the minimum wage needs to be tweaked after every 5 years. So what can then be termed as unnecessary? Will be the 415, the 250, the 62,000, or maybe now the 65,000. Since it's 3,000, we want to be adding.
I've seen it on different pages of newspaper where some people have actually coined the 62,000 naira as poverty wage. Poverty wage. And when you look at I love the topic we are going to discuss today. The cost of pepper, the cost of food items, rent, and every other thing, basic amenities of life. It is going out of reach of an average Nigerian. But when you look at the other side, where the political class are, it is not the same. So if we go to the same market, then why can't we earn the same thing?
Exactly.
Those people that you want to pay 62,000 naira, how do you want them to survive?
Animal pass animal. even in the animal kingdom. Okay, so well, let's take a news point for today. Should we stick with Mr. Minimum Wage? Yes. Mr. Minimum Wage.
Okay. Minimum wage it is. Minimum wage. Federal government warns of mass sacking as Labour disowns agreement. The federal government yesterday admonished organized labor to consider the broader economic implications of its push for an unrealistic higher national minimum wage. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who handed down the admonition, hinted that a 250,000 naira minimum wage demanded by labor could undermine the economy, lead to mass retrenchment of workers, and jeopardize the welfare of Nigerians. However, the labor unions refuted President Bola Tinubu's claim during his Democracy Day broadcast on Wednesday that an agreement had been reached on the new national minimum wage. And then the acting president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Prince Adewale Adeyanju, said as of the time of negotiation, which ended on June the 7th, no agreement had been reached by the tripartite committee on national minimum wage. Adeyanju spoke on behalf of the NLC president, Joe Ajero, who is attending an International Labour Organization conference in Switzerland. So, I don't know where we are now. They are saying they cannot afford to pay 250,000 naira. If Labour should push them to pay, there will be mass retrenchment.
Is that a threat?
It sounded like a threat.
It sounded like a
It sounded
threat,
like a
and
threat.
and it's not.
Why are they not looking inwards? Let us cut our own salaries,
And-
our own allowances,
Yes.
hardship, newspaper, tea. I can just go on and on.
Yeah, I think this is the time that government also needs to tread with caution, because no matter what it is that they do, it will be termed as victimization at this particular point in time. So, at first you had said no worker will be victimized, nobody will be, government will not come down or clamp down on anyone, and now you're saying mass retrenchment. You're speaking from different side of the mouth, because it now even looks like there are more than two mouths. So this is the time the government needs to be cautious in their decisions, their dealings, the kind of news releases that are out there. Government officials also needs to be very careful the choice of words at this time around, because people are angry and a lot of people are just bottling up so much inside of them. So this is the time to, in my own mind, placate people and not make people go overboard. There are ways that you can actually talk to labor and the workforce and give them assurances that they need to hear, and not a case of, threat or using languages that are, demeaning to the psyche of the workers. So I'm just going to appeal to governments, handlers, ministers, commissioners at this particular point in time. It's the time to, I don't know how you're going to do it, but this is the time to actually make Nigerians feel loved, feel like they are not just used workers. Make them, the dignity of labor, make them feel like they are actually working and earning a pay. It's not about saying that mass retrenchment. If you do the mass retrenchment, where will everybody go to?
And what will
Who
be
will
the
absorb
effects
them?
on the
And
security of the
effects,
society?
security, economy, it's going to be, it's not going to end well. So I'm sure that government can also rescind that decision. I beg.
I think they should
You
continue
can't even
to dialogue
sack
and,
people.
of course,
Dialogue remains
appeal
the...
to labor leaders.
And maybe just buy time.
And of course, Mr. President should call these governors for a meeting.
I think I
Some
saw...
of them, their utterances.
I saw a breakdown yesterday where each state was said to have been
what they can pay.
I saw as low as 40,000 naira. Some, in fact, some still wanting to maintain the 30,000 naira. And there was a former governor of which state now, Yobe, who said also day before yesterday that the states are rich, they can pay.
Abimbola, Delta State, he bought SUVs for all the National Assembly members.
Zamfara.
And it cost Delta State 1 billion naira.
This is Zamfara State that is saying, oh, they're going to start paying 30,000 naira. They sponsored people for Hajj for over 70 million.
Okay.
And there's no money to pay,
there's no
to pay
money.
new minimum wage.
All right. Let's
Animal farm, Sha. Abimbola said earlier.
Okay, Adebimpe, let's take your story because it's still in line with what happened yesterday.
Okay, no, the flooding.
Oh, yours is the flooding.
mine is
Okay,
the flooding.
okay. Groups protest in Abuja, Lagos, Osun over hunger. The bottom line of this story, of course, yesterday, we talked about it here, that people were already gathered at Ikeja Underbridge. The protest did hold. It held in a few other states across the country, but I'm glad that it ended well. It was peaceful and there was no misuse of force by the police or military officers that were on the road. But again, it just shows that people, I mean, the protest wasn't just about hunger. It was about the cost of living generally, fuel, food, electricity supply, and, uncertainty in the land generally. It was just one that, a lot of people, but some also said, you know what, rather than come out to protest, let me just stay in my house, because again, to be forewarned, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So let nothing bad done happen to me if I go on that. But again, it just shows that government needs to be a little bit more sensitive and
to the mood of the
sympathetic
nation.
and sympathetic to a whole lot of Nigerians. The percentage of those that are living okay at the moment is really, really low. I can't put a number to it, but it's far lower than the number of people who are in
suffering.
hardship. So this is the time for government to, again, be sympathetic to the plight of Nigerians. And Nigerians are not asking for too much.
Abi, just basic amenities of life.
Not too
Eh?
much.
Do you know
Not
that?
too
And
much.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, it was peaceful yesterday. Even when you look at the expression on the faces of those officers as well.
They're part of
It's
this
because they cannot
situation.
talk.
It's because
So they are just
they're
looking at the
on
people. I
duty.
beg, do your thing.
We're in this together.
In Osun State, it wasn't that peaceful. I read it somewhere that in Borikpe local government area, Ada, in Osun State, that the House of Reps member was ambushed. He was dragged
Again,
out of his car.
so, I mean, in situations like that, where exactly are you fighting?
Exactly. You
So
know.
if you begin to maim those who you claim represent you, how would they now speak for you?
Abimbola, what if
maybe
they have not been
maybe he
speaking?
hasn't been speaking for them.
Okay, so if they now kill him or anything
They
happens to
won't
him,
kill him. They just-
I'm not trying to encourage
just trying to
violence.
remind
I'm not
him
trying to encourage
by
violence.
ambushing him.
No, you
No,
see
I'm not
some of these,
encouraging that.
some of these politicians, when they get to Abuja,
They
they will
forget.
promise you something else here, and they will do something else over there.
They are human.
Instead of discussing things that will impact the life of people, you are discussing national anthem. Who that won't help?
Okay,
Will that bring food on the table of Nigerians?
let's take the flood issue.
Okay, 31 state, 148 local government areas risk severe floods. Federal government warns. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utseb, has cautioned that 148 local government areas across 31 states are among the highly probable flood risk areas for 2024. Utseb issued this warning during the official unveiling of the 2024 annual flood outlook on Monday in Abuja. And the identified states are Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, and Kogi. Others are Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Plateau, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe. Here in Lagos, we can see that Lagos State government has started, clearing the drainages,
drains.
to avoid such floods.
Well, to be forewarned is to be forearmed, and I hope Nigerians are listening right now. There will be flooding in some parts of the country. As much as government is trying to mitigate the effect of this flooding, we should also play our role as citizens by ensuring that we dispose our refuse properly and not clogging all the canals or drainage channels with our refuse. Water will find its level.
It will. It will. And I'm just going to add here that oftentimes we blame government for not being proactive. So now NEMA has gone ahead to give a warning. Lagos is amongst the states. So for those of you who live in especially low-plain areas, that Lagos has also warned, I beg, stop throwing refuse into the gutters, into the canals. You see people also throw things out of their vehicles. You see people just treating the environment in an unfriendly manner. I pray that the day that the flood will come, you will not be part of it. Because
these people directly.
And the funny thing about this year's rain is, if you've also been monitoring a few countries outside Nigeria, the flood has been really bad.
Yeah.
Has been really bad. I saw a video from Spain, and in the airport, the guy was actually swimming in the airport, and I'm like, are you for real? So it's not just about Nigeria. It is a global thing, a global climate issues, and we also must be ready and then ensure that we treat the environment in a friendly manner.
It is give and take.
Ah.
You treat me
For
well,
those-
I treat you well.
For those that remember the 2012 flood in Lagos,
Oh my God.
I'm sure you don't want to see a repeat of that episode. All right, let's take a trip to X this morning, formerly Twitter, and take a look at what's trending.
Abibola, why are
Okay.
you smiling?
What's trending?
Why are you
I'd
smiling?
like to know what is trending.
What's trending?
What's
What?
trending? What?
Mr. President is trending, of course.
Mr. President, Tinubu,
Yes,
President
Mr. President
Bola
is
Ahmed Tinubu
trending.
is trending.
Yes, Mr. President. Of course, I mean, we were all here yesterday when that incident happened, when the president tripped while trying to get into the parade truck, and. Me, I like the way the man handled it at night, though. He said, I dobale for democracy. You know, I'm a Yoruba man. I am a Yoruba man, and I am a proper Yoruba culture man. And I had to dobale for
When I saw that
democracy.
fall yesterday, I was really, really, really scared.
Worried.
For him.
Worried
Yes,
for
I was
him.
worried because he did not only fall; he hit his
His
mouth,
jaw or his
Yes.
face.
Yes.
Somewhere. I'm sure that I'm sure his doctors would have taken a look at him yesterday, because just like you rightly pointed out, for me, I also saw that and I was, I hope he wasn't injured for whatever reason. It was a national event and it was not life-threatening, so he had to continue. He finished the parade, and at night he was at the dinner, and of course he made a joke out of that. And I'm sure that the meme of that thing is going to come out very soon. Everybody will now be doubling for democracy. You have seen it already.
Then I think that we should also be safety conscious, especially when we have people that are holding power. Some of those stairs, they are quite high, and I might be wrong. Some of his aides, they were not alert.
It was an accident.
Abimbola.
But the ADC, I mean, what was this to do? It was an accident. No one was in front of him. Remember, he was getting into that truck. And for me, I just think that going forward, I think it is not, as much as, yes, I know we're cultural, maybe it is not every event that Mr. President needs to wear agbada.
Then the length of the agbada as well. I think they should make it short.
Ajibola, it is Gen Z people that wear short agbada.
Hey, Baba is claiming, I was singing Buga yesterday.
He said he did not Buga.
but Biden does not wear agbada. Well, he trips.
Biden's own, I don't know. Like, it's an example, right?
People have said, these old people should be careful.
Let's just guide them. Maybe they'll know how to start standing in front of Mr. President. I mean, it was an accident. And I also liked the way their positions also rallied around him yesterday. Atiku Abubakar and Obi. And, you know, they said good things about what happened yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
I felt Atiku's statement
we know sure.
Atiku's statement was a bit sarcastic.
I know, but I mean,
sarcastic.
talking about Atiku and Peter Obi, they were nice in their words yesterday. They were subtle, and they said it was an accident. Anybody
could have happened to
could
anyone.
trip and fall. But I'm sure going forward, I'm sure that the handlers of Mr. President will also cross all the T's and dot the I's going forward. Right, that's what we're taking a look at on our hashtag for today. We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, our first topic today is on food prices, especially the prices of tomatoes and pepper.
Have you bought? I will know the prices of tomato and pepper.
Do you still eat outside?
No.
Okay. And you don't cook?
I don't cook.
Don't let me come and cast
Just
you.
be careful how you eat outside and what you drink
because also cholera,
outbreak.
yes, that's
in Lagos.
also on the front burner in Lagos. So let's take a quick break and we'll